What's up, everybody? Today I'm going to talk about an up-and-coming destination that really no one else is talking about yet, but maybe they should, and that's Cuba, right? Is it the next Ecuador, per se? As far as expat destinations go, boy, it sure has potential. Nice climate, amazing beaches, much nicer than Ecuador, and it has, it's so close to Miami. I think a flight would be like 20 minutes. Imagine that, right? And it's cheap, it's inexpensive, it's got good food, very friendly people, low cost of living. I mean, the list goes on and on. Super interesting culture for most of us, an easy language, Spanish, right? So it's got a lot of potential. A friend, we'll just call him a friend, a close friend, visited Cuba just 2 or 3 years ago, and he noticed 3 major roadblocks to expats being able to move and live there for extended periods of time comfortably, right? The first roadblock, right, that he experienced, not me, I swear, you cannot take money out with a U.S. Debit card, and you cannot use U.S. credit cards, right? So what can you do to get money out? Well, this week I had an interesting conversation with an Ecuador expat friend of mine who lives half the year in Cuba and half the year in Ecuador, right? With his Cuban wife. And he told me he uses Ecuador bank cards, debit cards, in order to withdraw money out of ATMs directly in Cuba. There you go. First roadblock possibly solved using foreign bank accounts. And continuing with the conversation with him this week, I told him about my other friend's experience recently visiting Cuba. And a huge roadblock for most of us is, or for almost all of us, is that in Cuba, he experienced houses, there is no residential internet plans. Houses just don't have internet, little bed and breakfasts. Hostels don't have internet. The only places that have internet are these big, like you see in the square here, these big government-run elegant hotels where you pay $300 a night or so. Only they had internet, and then you'd see a bunch of people like in the courtyards here holding up their phones, trying to catch wafts of the Wi-Fi, and you wonder what the heck are they doing, and they're trying to connect to the internet because they don't have it in their homes. And that'd be a huge roadblock for most of us being able to move to Cuba, right? And my friend said that now, over the last year or two, residential internet has become available, and his daughter-in-law, I believe, or sister-in-law, his sister-in-law pays $65 a month to have internet in her home right now, 2021, entering 2022, for 40 hours max a week. Now, most of us might be able to make do with 40 hours max a week. So yeah, second roadblock, major roadblock, prohibiting most expats from moving there, averted, right? So let's go. The third roadblock that my close friend saw when he visited Cuba recently, just 2019, like 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, was that the double monetary system, right? There was the kook and the peso, and all the foreigners had used kook to buy everything. It was like 1-to-1 on the dollar, and it was much more expensive than the locals paying pesos for things, right? And most of us don't feel good about paying one price for something, and be it locals or whoever, paying for the same product or service, paying a lot less. It just doesn't feel good. You kind of feel like you're being overcharged for everything, right? But the friend, based on the conversation I had this week, the friend of mine who lives in Cuba for half the year, he said that this system, the kook, has been abolished, right? And now they just have the peso. So third major roadblock has also been abolished in just in the last year or two. So I think based on these three major roadblocks being torn down and all the potential that a place like Cuba has, this is one place that should be on all our radars. And if you're interested in places like this and more in Latin America and the world, then stay tuned to this channel. I'm Mr. Second Passport. Subscribe below, hit the like button and the bell to be notified of more videos just like this as soon as they become available. Take care.